Hi, it's Alan Austin Smith here, and I'm here in Dublin about to start a seminar for Alfaparf and Expert. But just before we do that, I thought it'd be a good idea to spend a few minutes talking to you about the upcoming competitions, the fantastic Hairdresser and Alfaparf competitions. And the two in particular that I'm so obviously closely connected, which is the fantastic Salon and the fantastic Hairdresser. And first of all, I want to talk about why you would enter those. You see, the obvious answer is to win, but you know there can only ever be one winner. It's great to be a winner. It's great to be a finalist, but actually, I think it's much more than that. I think winning and being a finalist is like the icing on the cake. I think the real advantage of particularly these two is the process you've got to go through to actually enter. The analysis of your business, of yourself, is so valuable, to actually sit down and spend this time answering the questions that I'm asking you. That people spend a lot of money to get me in to ask those questions. And so here's an opportunity for you to actually go through this process and enter the competition. Now, if you're a finalist, if you win, awesome, fantastic. But for me, it's more about the process. The second reason is actually what a great marketing tool. Awesome marketing, either for your salon or for yourself as an individual hairdresser. As a stylist, marketing is just as important to you as it is to the business. What a great, even if you don't become a finalist, you've been part of the fantastic salon, the fantastic hairdresser in Ireland. That on its own, to talk to your clients about, wow, that's a great marketing opportunity in sort of an informal marketing way, if you like. But a hairdresser, can you imagine, a client, can you imagine when they know that you're entering the fantastic hairdresser award of Ireland? What are they going to tell their friends? My hairdresser. That's how it works, informal marketing like that. But then there's the formal marketing, to actually get out there and tell people that you're doing this. If you are a finalist, if you do win it, I often say the winning, the night is fab and you have a party and you got your award and everything, that's great. But it's actually the next 12 months. You are the fantastic hairdresser for the next 12 months, the fantastic salon for the next 12 months. That should be featuring in your marketing massively. Otherwise, all it was a great night out. So for me, the first two reasons why you should be entering these awards, the number one is actually the analysis you've got to go through. Number two, use it. Use the opportunity to market and PR yourself. And thirdly, who knows? You might win it. And if not, you certainly might be a finalist. The odds are great. Get in there. Do it. Have a go. Why not? So that's the first thing I wanted to talk about. The second thing, I just wanted to give you my five tips for entering a competition. Not just this competition, by the way, any business competition like this. Number one, be a judge. Be a judge. Think from a judge's perspective rather than from your perspective. I've judged these competitions, and by the way, the judging of this is completely independent. I don't have anything to do with it. Nobody from Fantastic Hairdresser does. We use industry professionals that really know what they're talking about in this business, but we also, which is quite unique, use business people, high-level business people. It's a bit like Dragon's Den, getting people like this in to actually really stop and look at your business and give you a feedback, I guess, in terms of how you're doing. So, but the judging's tough. It's very intense. And if you can just try and imagine for a moment, it's a day, a long, long day, and we're sitting there with all these piles of entries around, and you've got to get through them and be fair and give them all good time. Now, but because of that, we've obviously have to limit the time as well. So there's a pressure on. Make it easy for the judge. Imagine yourself sitting there. There's real frustration sometimes in terms of, it's difficult. You're sort of having to go here and watch this video and do this and all these things. You go, oh God, I need to get on with this. Make it simple. Make it easy for the judges. Put yourself in the judge's shoes. What would you want to hear? What would you want to see? Get your points across and get them across really simply. Less is more. Now, you need to give enough information, obviously, but less is more. So, just be careful that you don't overcomplicate your entry. you know, it's human, okay? It shouldn't happen, but it's human nature. We're human beings. All the judges are human beings. If you're in the middle of a long day, you're tired, and you're under time pressure, and you're picking up an entry that's actually annoying you, it's actually frustrating you and annoying you. However good the entry is, I'm afraid of course that's going to impact. It's human. So keep it simple. Make it easy for the judges. Give them the information they need in a very simple, straightforward way. I always say it's great to have, the first page, almost like a checklist that says, this is all the information I've been asked for, and this is it. I've done it all. So at least the judge knows straight away everything's there. There's nothing more frustrating than spending time getting halfway through an entry and then finding there's some key information missing, in which case it's a pointless exercise. All right, so think from a judge's point of view. That's the first piece of advice I'll give you. Secondly, be engaging. For the same reason it's tough for the judges, grab the judges by the throat as fast as possible. Get the message across. Why should you be considered for this award early? Don't wait for a big grandstand finish. The judge might not even get there. Get them early. It's like anything. So be engaging. Be creative, but not too creative. Again, that can be a frustration for a judge. I want to be able to see the information that I need to see simply and quickly. So be creative. This is a creative industry. Sometimes on the creative thing, it's quite an interesting balance. Sometimes people are too creative, and it actually distracts from the entry. And then there's other times when people, frankly, aren't creative enough, and the judges, and I've heard it said, say, this is a creative industry. Why is this such a boring entry? So be creative in the way you create it, in the way you deliver your message, but just be careful you don't get too creative. Secondly, the big one, evidence. How can a business award be given out without evidence? And I know sometimes some people say, I don't want to give this information, whatever. I can guarantee you it's absolutely confidential. 25 years the Fantastic Hairdresser has been in business working with people's intimate and confidential information. There's no way we would have lasted that long if we played around with that information. So I promise you it's totally confidential. However, think about it. Imagine the hairdressing competitions. Imagine if you just rocked up to the hairdressing competition and said, hey, I'm an amazing hairdresser and I deserve to win this award. Someone will say, well, yeah, well, show us. We need to see evidence. It's the same with the business awards. Sometimes it seems like people think all they've got to do is write down how brilliant they are, how wonderful their team is, how much their customers love them, and expect to win an award. There's got to be evidence to back it up, and that's why we need the information. Now, if you leave evidence out, it's going to affect your marks. It's impossible to win. You've got to provide the evidence we ask for. If for some reason you can't, your computer system doesn't give it to you or whatever, then, let us know. At least let us know, but don't just leave it out. So, evidence, absolutely critical. It's impossible to win without the evidence. My fourth tip, be honest. Don't bullshit. These are smart people judging your awards. They'll spot it a mile off and you're stuffed, frankly, as soon as that's spotted. It's a bit like Dragon's Den. It's those people who go out there without the right information or they try to blag it and they get torn apart. And I see that happening in the judging room. People saying, hey, look at this. They've said this, but the figures say this and so on. So be honest, be straight. And again, be honest even about the negatives. If you haven't hit your profit target, tell us. Tell us why. Maybe there's a good reason. It won't necessarily mean you don't win or you don't become a finalist, but we need the information. And be honest, don't blag. And then finally, don't rush it. Don't wait until the last few days to cobble it together and send it through. And by the way, if for some reason you can't get some information, you've got a month at the moment. If you start now, then you've got a chance to actually at least spend a month manually collating information or whatever and tell us that you didn't have the information, but you spent a month gathering it. That's impressive. So don't rush it. Start now. Now, of course, nature of everybody, you're going to be the last few days putting it all together. But in the next few weeks, spend time gathering the evidence, being creative, involve your team, involve your colleagues, and think about how you're going to actually present this information in the right way. But trust me, it's so clear, it's so obvious when someone's rushed it. And by the way, one other thing also, this is a sort of combination of rushing and honesty. Don't use outside resources. It's so clear when you've used a PR agency. It's someone talking who doesn't really know your business. They're using PR and marketing language and so on. We want to hear from you. We want to know about your business. You know, when the PR agency is being used or an outside resource, it sort of looks, and by the way, this might not be the case, but it sort of looks like you've just passed it over to someone else to do it, that you couldn't really be bothered. You've entered this competition and you've paid someone to put your entry together. We want to see you. We want to see you as a fantastic hairdresser. We want to see you as a fantastic salon. Okay, that's it, I think. My 5 little tips there. Be a judge, engage, have the evidence, be honest, and don't rush it. Listen, you've got nothing to lose. You can only gain through the process of entering these competitions. So get stuck in, you know, have some fun, learn about yourself, learn about your business, and who knows? Listen, I'll see you on the night, and maybe I'll be shaking your hands on that stage. Have fun, good luck, and remember, be fantastic.